ground. Bestir! Bestir!
Hey, my hearts! Cheerly, cheerly, my hearts! Yar, yar! Take in the topsail! Tend to the master's whistle! Blow till thy burst thy wind from enough!
Good bosun! Have care! Where's the master? Play the man!
I pray now, keep below.
Where's the master, bosun?
Do you not hear him? You bar our labor. Keep to your cabins, you do assist the stores.
Nay, good. Be patient.
But when the sea is hence, what cares he scores? Name of king, to cabin silence, trouble us not.
Good. Yet remember whom thou hast aboard.
None I love more than myself. You right counselor. If you can command these elements to silence and work the peace of the present, we will not hand or rope more. Use your authority. If you cannot, make yourself ready in the cabin for the mischance of the hour, if it is so hap. Cheerly, my hearts! Out of my way, I say.
I take great comfort from this fellow. He thinks he hath no drowning mark upon him. His complexion is perfect gallows. Stand fast, good thing, to his hanging, and make the rope of his destiny our candle for our own little advantage. And if he be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable.
Topsail! Yard! Lower! Lower! Drive the main course! A plague upon this valley! It's longer than the weather or our office! Then again, what do you hear? Shall we give orange ground that you will mind to sink?
The pox are your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, and charitable dog!
Work you then!
Hang her, hang! We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art!
All more in tune for drowning, though the ship be no stronger than an nutshell, and as leaky as an upstairs wench.
Let her hold! A hold! Sir, do course off to sea again! Let her off!
The canyon brings them round. Let's assist them, for our cases as this.
I am out of patience! We are nearly cheated of our lives by drunkards, this wine-top gospel without my blood, washing of the dead eye!
He'll hang yet, though every drop of water swear against him, and keep that which to glut him. Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground, long heaths, brown furs, anything. The will's above be done, but I would fain die a dry death.
My dearest father, you have put these wild waters in this roar, allay them, for it seems the sky would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea mounting to the welkin's cheek dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer, a brave vessel who had no doubt some noble creature in her dash it all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been a god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or ere it should the good ship so have swallowed, and the frothing souls within her.
No more amazement. Tell my piteous heart there's no harm done.
Woe the day.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee. Of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full corcel, and thy no greater father. More to know. Did never meddle with my thoughts. This time I should inform thee, father. Come, lend thy hand and pluck my magic garment from me. So. Lie there, mine art. Wipe thou thine eyes. virtue of compassion in me, I have, with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as an hair be did to any creature in the vessel which thou heardst cry, which thou saw'st sing. Sit down, for I must now no further.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, "Stay, not yet."
The hour is now come, the very minute bids thee ope thine ear, obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came into this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person of anything, the image, tell me, that hath kept in thy remembrance.
'Tis far off, and more like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants me. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that
Thou
loved
hadst,
me?
and more, Miranda. Oh, how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou rememberest aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayst.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since, thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are you not my father?
My mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was the Duke of Milan, and his only heir and princess to know was issued.
Oh, the heavens! Well, what foul play had we that we came from thence? Or blessed what's we did?
Both, my girl, by foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly all hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the team that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you further.
My brother, and thy uncle called Antonio, I pray thee, mark me that a brother should be so perfidious. He who makes thyself of all the world I loved, and to him, but the manage of my state is at that time, though the signories it was the first. Prospero, prime duke, being so reputed in dignity and for the liberal arts without a parallel. Those being all my study to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. My false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most eagerly.
Being once perfected how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that were my own, I say, or else changed them or new formed them, having both the key of officer and officer, all hearts of the state to attune pleased his ear. And now he was the ivy which hid my princely trunk and sucked my murder out on it. Thou dost not attend me.
Good sir, I do.
I pray thee, mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind with that which, but by being so retired or prized all popular rate, in my false brother awaits an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit. Confidence sans bound. He, being thus lorded not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who having unto truth, by telling of it, made such a sinner of his own memory to credit his own life, he did believe he was indeed the Duke, after the substitution and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative. Hence his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me. Poor man, my library is dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties he thinks me now incapable of. Confederate so dry, he was forswayed with the king of Naples to do him tribute, pay him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and then the dukedom. Yet unbowed, less poor Milan to most ignoble stoop.
Oh, the heavens.
Mark his condition, then the event. Then tell me if this might be a brother.
I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother.
Good wombs have borne bad sons. How the condition? This king of Naples, being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens to my brother's suit, which is that he in lieu of the premises, and I know not how much homage should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom and confer fair Milan and all of its honors on my brother. Wherein fated to the purpose did Antonio open the gate, where a treacherous army levied one midnight, and hurried out me and mine prying self.
Alack! For mercy! I'm not remembering how I cried out then will cry it o'er again. It is a hint that brings mine eyes to it.
Sit still and hear the last. Then I shall bring thee to the present business which this story were most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not that hour
Destroy us. Well demanded, wench. I shall provoke some question. Dear, they durst not so dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colors fair painted their foul end. In few they hurried us aboard a bark, or some leagues to the sea where they had prepared a rotten carcass of a bot, not tackle, sail, nor mast. The very rats instinctively had quit it. There they hoist us to cry to the sea that roared to us to sigh, to the winds whose pity, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, cherubin, thou wast what did preserve me. Thou didst smile and fuse it with a fortitude from heaven when I had decked the sea with drops full salt under my burden grown, and raised in me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should else ensue. How came we ashore? By providence divine. Some food we had and some fresh water that a noble Neapolitan Gonzalo, being then appointed master of this design, did furnish us with rich garments, linen stuffs, and necessaries which sensitive study knowledge. So, of his kindness, knowing I've loved my dukedom, above all else, he furnished me with books from mine own library that I do prize, above fair Milan.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Sit still, and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here came we ashore, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other tutors care that have time for vainer hours, and tutors not so careful. Heavens thank you for it. And now, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind, your reason for raising the sea storm? Notice, prophet. By accident most strange, providence divine, now, my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore. And by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon most auspicious star, whose countenance, if I court naught but omit, my fortunes shall ever after droop. Here, cease more questions, thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, servant, come! What, my industrious servant Ariel, come!
All hail, great master! Grave sir, hail! I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel and all their quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometimes I'd divide and burn in many places. On the topmast, the yards, and bowsprit would I flame distinctly, then meet and join. Jove's lightning, the precursors of the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunning were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege, and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake.
Brave spirit! But who was so firm and so constant that the spoil could not infect his reason?
Not a soul, but felt a fever of the mad, and played some tricks of desperation. All but mariners plunged in the foaming brine and quit the vessel. Then all afire with me, the king's son Ferdinand, who, with hair upstaring, then like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leaped, cried, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here!"
A tricksy spirit! But was not this nigh shore?
Oh, close by, my master.
But are they Ariel's sake?
Not a hair perish. On their sustaining garments not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badst me in troops, I have dispersed them about the isle.
king's ship, the mariners, say how thou hast disposed the rest of the fleet?
Safely in harbor is the king's ship, in the deep nook where once thou calledst me up at midnight to fetch dew from the still decks at Bermuths, there she's hid. The mariners all under hatches stowed, who with a charm joined to their suffered labor I have left asleep. And for the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, they all have met again, and are upon the Mediterranean float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing that they saw the king's ship wrecked, and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed. There's more work. What is the time of the day?
Past the mid-season?
At least 2 glasses. The time 'twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now? Moody? What is thou canst demand?
My liberty,
Before the time be out. No more.
I prithee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made no mistakings, served without or grudge or grumblings. Thou did promise to bake me a full year.
Hast thou forgot from what a torrent I did find thee? Thou hast. And thinks it much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp winds of the earth, and to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost?
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing. Hast thou forgot that foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Where is she born? Speak. Tell me.
Sir, an archer.
Was she so? I must once in a month recount what thou hast been which thou forgettest. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter human hearing, from Arjun thou knowest was banished. For one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is this not true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and was left here by the sailors. Then wast thou, my slave, a servant, and for thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorred commands, she did confine thee with the help of her more potent masters and her most unmitigable rage into a cloven pine, within which rift thou didst remain imprisoned 12 years, within which space she died, and left thee venting thy groans as fast as will mills strike. Then was this island, save for the sun she did glitter here, a freckled well path, or not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
That very Caliban whom I now keep in service. Thou best knowest what a torment I did find thee. It was a torment to lay upon the dam which Sycorax could not again undo. It was my art when I arrived here and found thee, and heard thy groans that made gape in the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in its knotty entrails, till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be correspondent to command, and do my spriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master! What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go make thyself like a nymph of the sea, be subject to no sight but mine and thine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go, take this shape and hither come in. Go, hence with diligence. Awake, dear heart, awake, thou hast slept well. Awake.
The strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
Shake it off. We'll go visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
Is a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
And as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch us in wood, and serves in all offices that profit us. What ho! Slave, Caliban, thou earth! Thou speak!
There's wood enough within.
Come forth, I say! There's other business for thee. Come, thou tortoise, when? Oh, fine apparition, hearken thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Thou most poisonous
slave got by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam, come forth!
As wicked dew, as ere my mother blushed with raven's feather from unwholesome fen drop, on you both, a southwest blow on you and blister you all over.
For this, be sure tonight thou shalt have cramps. Side stitches that will pen thy breath, and urchins shall forth at fasting night to work all exercise on thee. There shall be pinch as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than the bees that made it.
I must eat my dinner. This island's mine, my sycorax, my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me, and made much of me. Wouldst give me water with berries in it, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the less that burn by day and night. And then I loved thee, and showed thee all the qualities of the isle, the fresh springs, brine pits, barren place, and fertile. Cursed be I that did so. All the charms of sycorax, toads, beetles, bats light on you, for I am all the subjects that you have, which first was mine own king. And here you style me in this hard rock, lest you do keep from me the rest of the island.
Thou must lying slave, whose stripes may move not kindness. I have used thee, filth, as thou art, and lodged thee in mine own cell till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Oh, ho, oh, ho. Would it had been done, thou didst prevent me. I had people else this isle with Caliban.
Abhorred slave, which any print of goodness wilt not take me incapable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, whence thou didst not know thine own tongue, but would babble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words that madest them known. Thy vile creature, though thou didst learn, had that in it which good natures could not abide to be with. Therefore wast thou deservedly confined into this prison, who hadst deserved more than this rock.
You taught me language, and my profit on it is I know how to curse. The right plain wicked
Hence,
language.
hence! Fetch us in fuel and be quick, thou'rt best to answer to other business. Shrugg'st thou, Malice? If thou neglect'st or dost unwillingly what I command, I shall rack thee with aged cramps and make thy bones ache, such that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
No, pray thee. I must obey. His art is of such power it would control my Dems god Setibus, and make a vassal of him.
So, slave, hence.
Come unto these ample sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you haven't kissed the wild waves whist. Footed featly here and there, and sweet sprites bear the burden.
Hark, hark.
The watchdogs bark. Hark, hark, I hear the strain of Stratum chandelier. Cry cock-a-diddle down.
Where should this music be? In the air? Or the earth? It sounds no more. And sure it waits upon some god of the island, sitting on a bank, weeping again the king my father's wrack. This music crept by me upon the water, allying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Hence I have followed it, or it hath drawn me rather. But 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Full fathom 5, thy father lies. Of his bones are coral made, combs are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing outer that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange.
does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
The frigid curtain of thine eye advanced, and they say that thou seest yond. What is it?
Spirit? Lord, how it looks about. Leave me, sir.
Here is a brave form.
But 'tis a spirit.
Wench, it eats and sleeps and hath such senses as we have such. This gallant which thou seest before you is in the rack, but he's something stained with grief. That's beauty's canker. Thou mightst call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine. And nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on. I see as my soul promised it. Fine spirit, I shall set thee free.
Most sure the goddess on whom these airs align. Vouchsafe my prayer. May know if you remain upon this island, and that you will some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is... Oh! You wonder if you be made or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language. I am the best of them that speak this speech.
Ah, the best. What wert thou of the King of Naples, heard thee?
A single thing, as I am now that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since I have beheld the king my father's rack.
Allah, for mercy.
Yes, faith, and all his lords, the Duke of Milan and his brave son being twain.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter could control him if now were fit to do it. At the first sight they have changed eyes. Fine spirit, thou shalt be free. A word, good sir. A word, I fear you have done yourself some wrong.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that e'er I saw. First that e'er I sighed for. Oh, pity move my father to be inclined in my way.
If a virgin in your affections not gone forth, I'll make you the queen of Naples.
Oh, sir, one word more. It goes all as I would like it to. But this easy winning I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. I charge thee, sir, that thou dost attend me. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast put thyself on this island as spy, to win it from me, the Lord Island.
As I am a man.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirit have so fair a house, then good things shall strive to dwell with it.
Come, follow. Speak you, not for him. Come, I'll now medical thy neck and feet together. Sea water shall have. Thy food shall follow.
No! I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Father, make not too rash a trial of him, for he's gentle and not fearful.
What I say, my foot, my tutor, who makes to show but dares not strike, thy conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come, from thy ward and draw thy weapon, I shall fear disarm thee with this stick, and make thy weapon draw.
Beseech you, father.
Hence! Hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make thee chide thee, if not hate thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Thou thinkst there are no more such shapes as he, having seen but he and Caliban. Foolish wench, to the most of men, this is a Caliban, and they to he are angels.
Then my affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Follow me. Thy nerves are in their infancy again. have no vigor in them.
So they are. My spirits, as if in a dream, are all bound up. The loss of my father, the weakness which I feel, the loss of all my friends, nor this man's threats, to whom I have subdued, are but light to me. Might I but through my window, once a day, behold this maid. All corners else of the earth let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
Come, follow. Fine spirit. Follow me in. Thou shalt have the air and freedom, but then do exactly all points of my command.
To the syllable.
My father's of a better nature than he appears by speech. This is unwonted which now came from him.
Follow me, and speak you not for him.
Beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause, so have we all of joy. For our escape is far beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common. Every day the wife of some sailor, the master of some merchant, and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, you Indians can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace. He receives comfort like cold porridge.
The visitors will not give him over so.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
Sir,
One.
when every grief is offered that's entertained, comes the entertainer.
$1.
$1 comes to him. Indeed, you spoke truer than you purposed.
You've taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord,
Fie, what a spendthrift is he of his tongue?
I prithee, spare.
well, I have done, but yet,
He will be talking.
Which, he or Adrian, for a good wager, first begins to crow.
The old cock!
The cockerel!
Done. The wager?
A laughter.
A match.
Though this island seems to be deserted,
So, you're paid.
inhabitable and almost inaccessible, yet
He could not miss it.
this must needs be of a subtle, tender, and delicate temperance.
Temperance was a delicate wench.
Aye, and the subtle as he most learnedly delivered.
The air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
As if it had lungs and rotten ones.
Or 'twere perfumed by a pen.
Here is everything advantageous to life.
True, he needs to
Of
live.
that there's none, or little.
Look how lush and lusty the grass is. How green.
The ground is indeed tawny.
With an eye of screaming.
He misses not much.
No, he doth but mistake the truth totally.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit,
As many vouched rarities are.
is that our garments, being as they were drenched in the sea, hold, notwithstanding their freshness and gloss.
being rather new dyed than stained with salt water.
If but one of his pockets could speak, would it not say he lies?
Aye, or very falsely pocket up his report.
Methinks our garments are as fresh as when we put them on first in Africa, at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Clara to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Tunis was never graced before with such a paragon to their queen.
Not since Widow Dido's time.
Widow, Huxat, how came that widow in, widow died of?
But what if he had said widower Aeneas, too? Good Lord, how do you take it?
Widow Dido, said you. You made me study of that. She was of Carthage, not of Tunis.
This Tunis, sir, was Carthage.
Carthage?
I assure you, Carthage.
His word is more than miraculous art.
He hath raised the wall, and houses, too.
What impossible matter will he make easy next?
I think he will carry this island home in his pocket and give it his son for an apple.
And sowing the kernels of it in the sea bring forth more islands.
Oh, aye.
Why, in good time.
Sir, we were just talking that our garments seem as fresh as when we were at Tunis. At the marriage of your daughter.
Who is now queen.
And the fair set air came there.
Babe, I beseech you, widow Dido.
Oh, widow Dido! Hey, widow Dido!
Is not, sir, my my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it. I mean, in a sort.
That sort was well fished for.
When I wore it at your daughter's marriage.
You crammed these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. Would I had never married my daughter there, for coming thence my son is lost, and in my rage she too, who is so far from Italy removed. I ne'er again shall see her. O thou mine son of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surgeons under him and ride upon their backs. He trod the water whose enmity he flung aside, and breasted the surgeons most swollen that met him. His bold head, above the contentious waves he kept, and oared himself with his good arms in lusty stroke to the shore, that over his wave-worn bases bowed, as stooping to relieve him. I have no doubt he came alive to land.
No, he's gone.
Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss that would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to an African, where she at least is banished from your eye, who have cause to wet the grief on.
Prithee, peace.
You were kneeled to, and importuned otherwise by all of us, and the fair soul herself, weighed between loathness and obedience, at which end of the beam should bow. We have lost your son, I fear forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them of this business making than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
So is the dearest of the loss.
My Lord Sebastian. The truth you speak doth lack some gentleness and time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
And most urgently.
It's foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather!
Very foul.
Had I a plantation of this isle, my lord,
He sowed it with a kernel seed.
Or docks or mallows.
and the king were on't, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine.
I, the Commonwealth, would by contraries execute all things, for no kind of traffic would I permit, no name of magistrate, letter should not be known, riches, poverty, or use of any service, none, contracts, succession, board, bound of land, tilled their vineyard, none, use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil, I'll have none, no occupations, all men idle, all, and women too, but innocent and pure, no sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on't.
The latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
All things in common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor. Treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or need of any engine would I not have. But nature should bring forth of its own kind, all poison, all abundance, to feed my innocent people.
No marrying among his subjects.
No men idle whores and knees.
I would with such perfection govern, sir. To excel the golden age.
Save his majesty.
Long live Gonzalo!
And do you mark me?
Prithee, no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do very well believe, your highness, and did it towards occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs, that they used to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you. So you may continue, and laugh at nothing still.
What the blows are given.
And it had not fallen flat long.
You are gentlemen of brave metal. You would lift the moon out of her sphere if she would continue it in 5 weeks without changing.
We want to do so, and then go a-back fouling.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No, I warrant you, I would not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep? For I am very heavy.
Go sleep and hear us.
All so soon asleep. I wish mine eyes would with themselves shut up my thoughts. I find they are inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offer of it. It is a comforter that seldom visits sorrow.
You too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest and watch your safety.
Thank you. wondrous heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
'Tis the quality of the climate.
Why doth it then not our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all as by consent. They dropped as by thunderstroke. What might? Worthy Sebastian. Oh, what might? No more. And yet, methinks I see it in thy face what thou shouldst speak. The occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Art thou waking?
Dost thou not hear me speak?
I do. And surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakst out of thy sleep. What is it thou didst say? What a strange repose this is, to be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lest thy fortune sleep, die rather winkest, while thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my customs. You must be so too, heed me, which to do troubles are over.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so. To ebb, hereditary sloth instructs me.
Oh, if you but knew how you the purpose cherished, while thus you mock it, how in striping it you more invest it. Even men indeed most often do the bottom run by their own fear or sloth.
Prithee, say on. The setting of thine eye and cheek proclaim a matter from thee, a birth indeed, which throws thee much to yield.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this who shall be of little memory when he is earth, hath here almost persuaded, for he's a spirit of persuasion, professes to persuade the king his son's alive. 'Tis as impossible as he is undrowned, that he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Oh, Adam, no hope, what great hope have you? No hope that way is another way, so high a hope that even ambitions cannot pierce a wing, but doubt discovery there. Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Clarabelle.
She that is queen of Tunis. She that dwells 10 leagues beyond men's lives. She that from Naples can have no note unless a somewhere coast. The men in the moon too slow, till newborn chins be rough and razorable. She that from whom which we receive swallowed though some cast again, and by some strange destiny to perform an act. Where all this what's prolonged? What's to come and yours and mine's discharge?
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true. My brother's daughter is queen of Tunis. So is she heir of Naples. Twixt which regions there is some space.
A space whose ever cubit seems to cry out, how shall that Clarabelle measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis, and let Sebastian wake. Say this were death that now has seized them. They are no worse than now they are. There that rule Naples as well that he that sleeps. Lords that retreat as ample and unnecessary as this Gonzalo. I myself can make a chuff as deep as chat. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. What to sleep with this for your advancement? Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
Then how does your content tend your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. And look how well my garments sit upon me, much fatter than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience.
I sir realize that poor kids would put me in my slipper, but I feel not this deity in my bosom. 20 conscience that stand twixt me and Milan, candy they are, and melt ere thy molest. Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. He that for which now which he's like, which is dead. And I with disobedience feel 3 inches of it, can lie to bed forever. While thus you doing like to the perpetual wink. For this ancient morsel, this
Sir, Ferdinand, who should not degrade our course. They'll take suggestion that a cat laughs milk. They'll tell the clock to end the business that we say benefits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou gott'st to Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together. And when I rear my hand, you do the like to fall on Gonzalo.
Oh, what one word!
My master, through his heart, foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, or else his project dies, to keep them living. While you here to snore in lie, open-eyed conspiracy his time doth take. If of life you keep a care, shake off slumber, and beware, awake.
No, good angels, preserve the king!
What, how now, ho, awake! Why are you gone? Wherefore this ghastly looking?
What's the matter?
Whilst we stood here, securing your repose, even now I heard a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls or lions rather. Did not wake you? Struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, 'twere did to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake. Sure, it was a roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard it is Gonzalo.
Upon mine honor, there was a humming, and a strange one too, which did wake me. I shake you, sir, and cried, and when I opened mine eyes, I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise, that's verily. I suggest we stand upon our guard, and that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground and let's make further search for my poor son.
Oh, heaven keep him from these monsters, for he is sure in the island.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
That the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats, on Prospero, and make him by ichmeal a disease. His spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. But the nor pinch, frights me with irken shows, pitch me in the mire, nor lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way, unless he bid them. But for every trifle they set upon me. Sometimes like apes that mow and chatter at me, and after bites me. Then like hedgehogs that like tumbling in my bare footway and mount their prints at my footfall. Sometimes am I all round with adders, who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness. Lo, here comes the spirits of his, and to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat. Perchance he will not mind me.
Here's that
Yon huge one looks like a foul bumber that would shed his liquor. Vision thunder is a din before I know not where to hide my head. Yon same black cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. What do we have here? A man? Or a fish? Dead? Or alive? Oh, fish. Smells like a fish. A very ancient and fish-like smell. A kind of not of the newest Poor John. A strange fish. Were I in England now as once I was, and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there would give a piece of silver. There would this monster make a man. Any strange beast there makes a man. When they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar, they will lay out 10 to see the dead fish. Legged like a man. And his fins like arms. Oh, warm! Oh, my troth. I do now let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath recently suffered from a thunderbolt. Good God! The storm's come again. My best way is to creep under his, gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. Oh, here I will shroud to the dregs of the storm be past. Oh. No, not touch me! No!
I shall no more to see. To see! Here shall I die ashore!
Oh. This is a very scurvy tune to sing in a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort. The master, the swabber, the boatswain, and I, the gunner and his mate, loved Moll, Meg, Marion, and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate, for she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, "Go hang!" She loved not the savor of tar nor of pitch, yet a tailor might scratch her where'er she did itch. Oh, then to sea boys and let her go hang. This is a scurvy tune too, but here's my comfort.
Do not torment me now!
What's the matter? Have we devils here? Do you put tricks upon us with savages and men of inn? Ha! I have not escaped drowning now to be afeard of your 4 legs. For it hath been said, as proper a man as ever when on 4 legs cannot make him give ground. And it shall be so again while Stephano breathes at nostrils.
The spirit torments me. Oh.
This is some monster of the isle with 4 legs who have got as I take it, and a queue. Where the devil should he learn our language? I'll give him some relief if it be but for that. If I can recover him, and keep him tame, and get to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor that ever trod on neat's leather.
Do not torment me. Prithee, I'll bring my wood home faster.
If he's in his fit now, and does not talk after the wisest. He shall taste of my bottle. If he never drunk wine, we'll go near to remove his fit. If I can recover him and keep him tame, I will not take too much for him. He shall pay for him that hath him, and that soundly.
Thou dost me yet but little hurt. Thou wilt anon, I know it by thy trembling. No Prospero works upon thee.
Oh, come on your ways. Here is that which will give language to you, cat. Open your mouth. This will shake your shaking. I can tell you if that is sounding. You cannot tell who's your friend. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice. It should be. But he is drowned, and these are devils. Oh, defend me!
4 legs and 2 voices. A most delicate monster. His forward voice is to speak well of his friend. His backward voice is to utter foul speech and to detract. If all the wine in my bottle will recover him, I will help his ague. Come. Amen! I shall pour some in thy other mouth. Let thy other mouth call me. Mercy, this is a devil and no monster. I will leave him. I have no long spoon.
Stephano! If thou be Stephano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeard, thy good friend Trinculo.
If thou be Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by the lesser leg. Your many legs be Trinculos. These are they. Very Trinculo indeed! How camest thou to be in the siege of this moon calf? Get ye thence, Trinculos?
I took him to be killed with a thunderstroke. But art thou not drowned, Stephano? I hope now that thou art not drowned. Is the storm overblown? I hid me under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm. But art thou living, Stephano? Oh! Stephano, turn me up a pleasant state!
Do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites, that's a brave god and bears celestial liquor. I will lead to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. I escaped upon the butt of a sack, which the sailors heaved overboard. By this bottle, which I made of the bark of a tree with mine own hands, since I was cast ashore.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here, swear then how thou escapest.
Swum ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Kiss the book. Though thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Stephano, hast thou any more of this?
The whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, mooncalf? How does thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon, I do assure thee. I was the man of the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog in thy bush.
Come, swear to that. Kiss the book. I will furnish it anon with new content. Swear.
By this good light, this is a very shallow monster. I have fear of him. A very weak monster, the man of the moon. Oh, a most poor, credulous monster. Well-drawn monster in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I'll kiss thy foot. I prithee, be my god.
By this light, this is a most perfidious and drunken monster. When God's asleep, he'll rob his bottle.
I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy subject.
Come on, then. Down and swear.
I could laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster. A most
scurvy monster. I could find it in my heart to beat him.
Come kiss.
Oh, but the monster's in drink.
I'll show thee the best springs. Ooh, I'll pluck thee berries. I'll fish for thee. And get thee wood enough. A plague upon the tyrants that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man.
Oh, a most ridiculous monster to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I prithee, let me bring thee to where crabs grow, and I with my long nails will dig thee pig nuts, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. I'll bring thee to clustering filberts, and sometimes I'll get thee young scammels from the rock. Would thou go with me?
I'm pretty now. Lead the way without any more talk. Trinculo, the king and all our company else being drowned, we will inherit here. Here, bear my bottle, fellow Trinculo. We will fill him by
Farewell, master! Farewell! Farewell!
Howling monster! A drunken monster!
No more dams I'll make for fish, nor fetching firing at wiring. No stranger to me, no wash dish. Bam! Bam! Gallopin has a new master, got the new man. Freedom, high day, freedom. Freedom, high day, freedom.
Oh, brave monster! Lead the way! And the freedom. Ah.
There be some sports are painful. In their labor, delights in them sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father is crabbed. And he's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a sore injunction. I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors, most busiest when I do it.
Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. Ugh, I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. Pray, set it down, rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. Safe for these 3 hours.
Most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that.
Precious creature, I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as it does you. And I should do it with much more ease, for my goodwill is to it, and yours, it is against.
Poor thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda? Oh, my father, I broke your hest to say so.
Miranda. Indeed, the top of admiration. Worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a woman have I eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women, never any with so full soul, but some moral defect in her did quarrel with the noblest Gratiot and put it to the foil. so perfect and so peerless are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remembers, save from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend. And my dear father. How faces are abroad, I am skillless of, but by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I am in my condition of prince, Miranda. I do think a king. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
Heaven. Oh, earth!
Bear witness to this sound and crown what I profess with kind of and if I speak true. If hollowly invert what best is boded me to mischief high, beyond all limit of where else in the world do love, prize, wherefore weep you?
At my unworthiness, I dare not offer what I desire to give, much less take what I shall die to want. Oh, but this is trifling! And what seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning, and prompt me plain and holy innocence, I am your wife if you shall marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My mistress, dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
I, and with a heart as willing as bondage, heir of freedom. Here's my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. And now, farewell. Until half an hour hence.
1,000,000.
So glad of this day I cannot be what surprised with all.
Oh, my rejoicing at nothing can be more. That's my book. For yet ere supper time I must perform much business appertaining.
Tell not me. When the bud is out, we'll drink water, not a drop before. Therefore, bear up in boredom. Servant monster, drink to me.
Serpent monster, the folly of this island. They say there's but 5 upon this isle, or 3 of them. If the other 2 be brain like us, the state totter.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else? He were a brave monster indeed if they were set in his tail.
My man monster hath drowned his tongue with sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. I swam, ere I could recover the shore. 30 leagues off and on by this life. Thou shalt be my Lieutenant Monster, or my standard.
Oh, you're a lieutenant. He's no standard.
Will not run, Monsieur Monster.
Nor go neither, but you'll lie like dogs and say nothing neither.
Mooncalf, speak once in thy life, if thou be'st a good mooncalf.
How does thy honor? Who lets me lick thy shoe? If not serve him, he is not valiant.
Thou liest, most ignorant monster. I'm in case to justle a constable, thou debauched fish, thou. Was there ever a man, a coward, that have drunk so much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
Lo, how he mocks me! Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Lord, quoth he, that a monster should be such a natural.
Lo again! Bite him to death, I prithee!
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your head. If you prove a mutiner, the next tree. The poor monster's my subject, and he shall not suffer from indignity.
I thank my noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made to thee?
Marry will I. Kneel and repeat it. I will stand. And so shall Trinculo.
As I told thee once before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer that by his cunning had cheated me at the island.
Thou liest!
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee! Do not lie.
Trinculo, if you trouble him in his tale by this hand, I'll supplant some of your teeth.
Why, I said nothing.
Mum then, and no more. Proceed.
I say by sorcery he got this idol. From me he got it. If thy greatness will, revenge it on him. For I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
Thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
How now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, my lord. I'll yield him thee asleep, or thou mayst knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest, thou canst not!
What hide ninny's this? Thou scurvy patch! I do beseech your greatness. Give him blows, and take his bottle from him. When that's gone, he shall drink naught but brine. For I'll now show him where the quick freshes are.
Trinculo, run to no further danger. If you trouble the monster one word further by this hand, I'll turn my mercy out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Why? What did I did not. I'll stand farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest!
Do I so? Take thou that. As you like this. Give me the lie another time.
I do not give the lie.
Ow.
Out of your wits and your hearing too. Epoxy your bottle. This can sack and drinking do. The murrain on your monster, and the devil take your fingers.
Now forward with your tale. Prithee stand further off.
Beat him enough. After a little time, I'll beat him too.
Stand farther. Come. Proceed.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom with him in the afternoon to sleep. There thou mayst bring him, having first seized his books, or with a log batter his skull, or punch him with a stake, or cut his reason with thy knife. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he's but a sot, as I am, nor hath not one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books. He has brave utensils, for so he calls them, which when he has a house he'll deck with all. Oh, and that most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her the non-hero. I never saw a woman but only Sycorax, my dam, and she. But she has far surpassed the Sycorax as greatest does lead.
Is it so brave a lass?
Aye, my lord. She will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I shall be king and queen, save our graces. And Trinculo and thyself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo?
Excellent.
Oh, give me thy hand. I'm sorry I beat thee, but while thou livest, keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half hour he will be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
Aye, on mine honor.
This will I tell my master.
Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let this be jocund. Would thou troll the cat you taught me with while air?
At thy request, I do reason, any reason. Come, Trinculo, let us sing. Flout 'em and scout 'em, and flout 'em and scout 'em. Fraud is free.
That's not the tune.
Oh. What is this saying?
That is the tune of our catch, played by the picture of, nobody.
If thou be'st a man, show thyself in thy likeness. If thou be'st a devil, take as thou list.
God forgive me my sins!
Oh, he that dies pays all debts. I defy thee. Mercy upon us.
Art thou afeard?
Oh, no monster, not I.
Be not The isle is full of noises, sounds and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about my ears, and sometimes voices that, if I then had waked after long sleep, will make me sleep again. And then in dreaming the clouds methought would open, and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me, where I shall have my music for nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed,
That shall be by and by. I remember the story.
The sound is going away. Let's follow it and after do our work.
Lead, monster. We'll follow. I would I could see this tabor. He lays it on. Wilt come?
I'll follow, Stephano.
Sir, I can go no further. My old bones ache. 'Tis a mace trot indeed, through forthrights and meanders. By your patience, I needs must rest me.
O Lord, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with weariness to the dulling of my spirits. Sit down and rest. Even here I will put off hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. He is drowned, whom thus we strave to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, let him go.
I am right glad that he is so out of hope. Do not for Rome repose forgo the purpose that you resolve effect.
The next advantage will we take thoroughly.
Then let it be tonight, for now they are oppressed with travel. They cannot nor will not use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say tonight. No more.
What harmony is this? My good friends, hark.
Marvelous. Sweet music.
Ah! Good heavens, what were these?
A living drollery. Now I will believe that there are unicorns, that in Arabia there is one tree, the phoenix throne, one phoenix at this hour reigning there.
I'll believe both, and what else does one credit? Come to me, and I'll be sworn 'tis true. Travelers ne'er did lie. The fools at home condemn them.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? If I should say I saw such islanders, for certes these are people of the island, who, though they are of monstrous shape, yet note their manners are more gentle and kind than that of our human generation. You shall find many, nay, almost any.
Honest Lord, thou hast said well. For some of you here present are worse than devils.
I cannot too much muse, such shapes, such gestures, such sound, although they want the use of tongue, expressing. Oh, a dumb excellent discourse.
Praise, in departing.
They vanished strangely.
No matter, since they have left their viands behind, for we have stomachs. Will't please you to taste of what is here?
Not I.
Oh, faith, sir, be not afraid. When we were boys, who would believe that there were mountaineers do laugh like bulls, whose throats had animating wallets of flesh, or that there were men whose heads stood in their breasts, which we now find. Each putter out of 5 of 1 will bring us good warrant of.
I will stand to and feed, although my last, no matter since I feel the best is past. My brother the Duke stand to and do as we.
You are 3 men of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in't, the never surfeited sea hath cause to belch up you. And on this island, where man doth not inhabit, you mongst men being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. And even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with bemucked at stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dowel that's in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too mercy for your strength, and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you 3 from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea which hath requited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers, delaying not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all creatures against your peace. Of thy son, Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you and your ways, whose wraths to guard you from, which here and this most desolate isle else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart sorrow and a clear life ensuing!
Bravely the figure of this harpy hast thou performed, my own. A grace it had devoured. Of one command hadst thou nothing bade him that thou hadst withheld. To good life and observation strange, thy fellows the strict and worldly perform. My high charms work, and these mine enemies are all lit up in their extractions. And in these fits I'll leave them, whilst I will visit young Ferdinand, who they suppose is drowned, and his and mine loved darling.
In the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous. Monstrous. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe pronounced the name of Prosper. It did base my trespass, and therefore my son in the ooze is bedded, and I'll seek him deeper than e'er plummet sounded, and with him there lie mudded.
But one fiend at a time. I'll fight their legions, or
I'll be thy second! Ah!
The three of them are desperate. Their guilt, like a poison given to work a great time after, now gets to bite their spirits. I do beseech you, who are of suppler joints, follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy may provoke them to.
Follow, I pray you.
I have too austerely punished you. Your compensation takes amends. For I have given you here a third of mine own life. For that for which I live, and once again I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. Here before heaven I ratify this, my rich gift. Oh, Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I do boast of her. Thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and leave it halting behind.
I do believe it against an oracle.
And as my gift, and thine own acquisition worthily purchased, take my daughter. But if thou dost, before all sanctimonious ceremonies may with full and holy rite be ministered, break her virgin knot, no sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract go, but barren hate, soured eye disdain, and discord shall bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so loathfully that you shall hate it both. Therefore take heed, as Hymen's lamps shall light you.
As I hope for quiet days, fair issue, and long life with such love as 'tis now, the murkiest den, the most opportune place, the strongest suggestion, our worser genius shall never melt mine honor into lust to take away the edge of that day's celebration when I shall think, or Phoebus' steeds are foundered, or night kept chained below.
Fairly spoke. Sit then, and talk with her. She is thine own. Come away, servant, come!
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Thou and my near fellows my last service did worthily perform, and I shall use you in such another trick. Go, bring the rabble o'er whom I give thee power, incite them quick to motion. I must present some vanity of mine art to this young couple. It is my promise, and they expect it from me.
Presently.
Aye, with a twinkle.
Before you can say, come and go, and breathe twice and cry, so, so, each one tripping on his toe, we'll be here with mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel. Do not approach till thou dost hear me call.
Well, I can see you.
Look you, do not give dalliance too much the rein. The strongest oaths are straw to the fire of the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
I warrant you, sir, the white, cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well, come away, servant. Bring a corollary rather than want a spirit. Appear and depart thee. No tongue. All eyes silent.
Bounteous lady, thy rich leaves of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats, and peas, thy turfy mountains, where live nibbling sheep, and flat meads thatched with stover to them to keep, thy banks, with peonid and twilled brim, which spongy April at thy nest betrays, to make cold nymphs chaste crowns with thy broom groves, whose shadow dismissive bachelor loves, being, last lord, thy pole-clipped vineyard and thy sea, marge, sterile, rocky hard, where thou thyself dost err, the queen of the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee leave these in her sovereign grace, here, in this grass plot, in this very place, to come and sport. Her peacocks fly main. Approach, rich Ceres, her to entertain. Hail, many-colored messenger, that ne'er dost disobey the wife of Jupiter, who with thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffuses honey drops, refreshing showers, and with each end that by blue bough dost crown my bosky acres, and my unshrubbed down, rich scarf to my proud earth. Why has the queen summoned me hither to this short grass green? A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate on the blessed lovers. Tell me, heavenly God, if Venus or her son, as thou dost know, do now attend the queen? For they did plot the means that dusky dyes my daughter got. Her and her blind boys scandaled company. I have forsworn of her society. Be not afraid. I met their deity, cutting the clouds towards Paphos, and her son, dove drawn with her. Here thought they to have done some wanton charm upon this man and maid, whose bed rights are that none shall be paid till Hymen's torch be lighted. But in vain. Mars' hot minion has returned again. His waspish-headed son has broke his arrows, claims he will shoot no more, but play with sparrows, and be a boy right out. Highest queen of state, great Juno comes, I know by her gait. Greetings, bounteous sister. Go with me that we may honor thee. Bless these twains that they may be honored in their issue. Honors, riches, marriage blessing, long continuance and increasing. Hourly joys are still upon you. Juno sings her blessings on you. Earth's increase, poison plenty, barns and garners never empty. Vines with clustering branches growing, plants with goodly burden bowing. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you. Ceres' blessing, so is on.
This is a most majestic vision, and harmonies charmingly. May I be bold to think of spirits?
Spirits which by my art I have called from their confines to enact my present fancies.
Let me live here ever. So rare a wonder, father and wise, makes this place paradise.
Sweet silence, Juno and Ceres whisper seriously, hush, and be mute or else the spell is marked.
You nymphs, called naiads of the wintering brooks, with your sedged crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels on this green land, and answer your summons. Juno does command. Come, temperate nymphs, to help settlement of August weary. Come hither from the furrow, and be merry. Make holiday, your bright straw hats put on, and these freshness counter every one in country foot.
I had forgot that conspiracy of the foul beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The very minute of their plot draws near. Well done! Avoid! No more!
This is strange. Your father's in some quarrel that works him strongly.
Never till this day I saw him touched with anger so distempered. You do look, my son, in a moved sort, as if thou wert slain. Well, be cheerful. Our revels now are ended, and these our actors, as I foretold you, were spirits, and have melted into air, into thin air, like the baseless fabric of this insubstantial pageant. Cloud-capped towers, the solemn temples, the great palaces, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit, shall dissolve, and leave none rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made of. And our little life is rounded with the sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Do not be disturbed by my infirmity. If you please, retire into my cell and there find repose. A turn or two I'll walk to still my being. I wish you peace.
We wish you peace.
Come, servant.
My thoughts I cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
Aye, my commander. When I presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee of it, but I feared lest I might anger thee.
Say again what thou didst leave these varlets.
I told you, sir, they were red hot with drinking, so full of valor that they smote the air for breathing in their faces, beat the ground for kissing of their feet, yet always bending towards their project. Then I beat my tabor, at which, like unbacked colts, they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, lifted up their noses, as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears, that, calf-like, they my lowing followed through toothed briars, sharp furzes, pricking gorse and thorns, which entered their frail shins. At last I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell, there dancing up to the chins, that the foul lake o'erstunk their feet.
This was done well, my bird. The trumpery in my house, go bring it hither for stale to catch these thieves.
Go, I go!
Devil, a born devil, on whose nature nurture could never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken all lost, quite lost. As with age his body uglier grows and his mind cankers. I shall plague them all even to roaring. Come, hang them on this line.
Don't push me.
Tread softly, that the blind mole may not hear a footfall. We now are near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little better than play the jack with us.
Monster, I do smell a horse piss, which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine. Do you hear, monster? If I should take displeasure in you, look you.
Thou wert a lost monster.
My lord, give me thy favor still, for the prize I'll bring thee to shall unwink this mischance. Therefore speak softly. All is hushed as midnight yet.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool.
Oh, there is not only disgrace and dishonor in that monster, but an infinite loss.
It means more to me than my wedding.
I will fetch off my bottle, though I be o'er ears for my labor.
Prithee, my king, be quiet. Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever, and I, thy Caliban, for aid thy footlicker.
Give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
Oh, King Stephano. Oh, Pierre. Worthy Stephano, look. What a wardrobe they
are a fool. It is but trap.
Oh, master, we know what belongs to a frippery. Oh, worthy Stephano.
Put off that gown, Trinculo. By this hand, I'll have that gown.
Thy grace shall have it.
Drop it from this fool. What do you mean to dote us on such luggage? Let it alone and do the murder first. If he'll wink from toe to crown, he'll fill us here with pinches. Make us strange stuff.
Be you quiet, master. Mistress, lie. Is not this my jerkin? Now is the jerkin under the line. Now, jerkin, you are like to lose your hair and prove a bald jerkin.
Do. We steal by line and level, and like your grace.
I thank thee for that, Jester. Here's a garment for it, which shall not go unrewarded while I am king of this country. Steal by line and level is an excellent passive page. Here's another garment for it.
Monster, come. Put lime upon your fingers and away with all the rest.
That will have none on it. We shall lose our time and all be turned to barnacles or to apes with foreheads villainous low.
Monster, lay onto your fingers. Help to bear this away where my hogshead of wine is. Or I'll turn you out of my kingdom. Go to carry this.
And this.
And this. Okay, easy now. No, please.
Go charge my goblins that they shall grind their joints with dry convulsions, shorten up their sinews with aged cramps, and more pinch spotted make them the part of cat mountain.
Hark, they roar!
Let them be hunted. Soundly. At this hour lies at my mercy all mine enemies. Shortly shall my labors end, and thou shalt have the air of freedom. For a while follow, and do me service. Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with this carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so when I first raised the Tempest. Say, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them. All prisoners, sir, in the lime grove which whether fends your cell. They cannot budge till your release. The king, his brother, and yours abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay. But chiefly, him that you turned, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works him that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
And mine shall. Hast thou which art but e'er a touch? A feeling of their affliction shall not myself, one of their kind who relish all as sharply passion as they be kindly moved than thou art? One of their high rising struck to the quick, and with my nobler reason against my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. May be the penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go! Release them, Ariel, my charms I'll break, their senses I will restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
You elves of hills,
brooks, standing lakes and groves, and you that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune and do fly him when he comes back. You demi-puppets that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make whereof you not buds. And you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by whose aid, weak masters though you be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and azure vault, set dread rattling thunder to war. By his own bolt, by Jove's stout oak, I have plucked up, by the spurs pine and cedar graves at their command, have waked their sleepers, oped and let them forth by my so potent art. As I require some heavenly magic, as even now I do to work mine end on those who this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book! And the best comfort to an unsettled fancy, now cure thy brains, useless, boiled within thy skull. There stand, for you are spell-stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable sir, mine eyes, insociable to the show of thine, fall fellowly drops. The charm resolves apace, and as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, so their senses begin to mantle their clearer reason. O good Gonzalo, my loyal preserver, and the best sir, to him thou followest, I shall pay thy graces home both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. My brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pinched for now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood. You, brother mine, who expelled remorse and reason, whom with Sebastian, whose inward pinches therefore are most strong, would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, natural though thou art. Their understanding begins to swell, and the approaching tide shall shortly fill the reasonable shore that now lies foul and muddy. Not one of them that looks on me I will know. Ariel, fetch me the hat and rapier in my cell. I shall discase myself as I was sometime Milan. Go, hence with diligence. I shall miss thee, but thou shalt ere long be free. So to the king's ship invisible as thou art.
I drink the air before me and return, or ere your pulse twice beat.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us from this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero. For more assurance, the living prince shall speak to thee, I embrace thy body. And to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
Where thou beest, he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me. As late I have been, I not know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind amends, with which I fear madness held me. This must crave, and if this be at all a most strange story. Thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat thou pardon me my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends all. And you, my grace of lords, were I so minded, I could pluck his highness's frown and justify you traitors. But this time I will tell no such tales.
The devil speaks in him.
No! For you, most wicked sir, whom to call brotherly, infect my mouth, I do forgive thy rankest faults, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. How thou hast met us here, whom 3 hours since were racked upon this shore, where I have lost. How sharp the point of this remembrance is, my dear son Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past her cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help. Of whose soft grace for the leg lost, I have her sovereign, and rest myself content.
You the like loss?
As great to me as laden. Supportable to make the dear loss I have means much weaker. For I have lost my daughter.
A daughter. Oh heavens, that they were both living in Naples. The king and queen there. That they were, I wish myself, were mudded in that oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last focus. I do perceive these lords at this encounter do so much admire that they devour their reason. They scarce think their eyes do offices of truth, their words are natural breath. But howsoe'er you have been jostled from your senses, know thus far forth that I am Prospero, and that very duke who is thirst from Milan, who most strangely landed upon this shore where you were at to be the lord on't. No more yet of this, for it is a chronicle of day by day, and not a relation for breakfast, nor befitting of this first meeting. Please you, look in. Here I have few attendants and subjects, none abroad. Since you have given me my dukedom, I shall requite you with as good a thing to content you as much as me my dukedom. Please you, look in.
Oh, sweet lord, you play me full!
No, my dearest love, I would not for the war.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should rankle. I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose? A most high miracle!
Those seas threaten, they are merciful. I've cursed them without cause.
Now all the blessings of a glad father compass thee about. Arise and say how thou painst tears. Oh, wonder, how many goodly people are there here? It is new to thee. What is this maid with whom thou must at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. She the goddess that hath severed us and brought us together.
No, sir, she is mortal. By immortal providence, she is mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, whom I have heard often renowned but never saw before, of whom I have received a second life, and second father, this lady looks into.
I am hers. But oh, how oddly will it sound I must ask my child forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrances with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoke ere this. Look down, you gods, and on this couple drop a blessed crown. For it is you who have chalked forth the way that brought us hither.
I say amen.
Hey! Villain thrust from Milan that their wishes should become kings of Naples. In one voyage did Clara her husband find Tunis, and Ferdinand her brother, a wife for himself was us, and Prospero his dukedom at War Isle, and all of us ourselves. when no man was his own.
Lay your hands, and let not grief nor sorrow still embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Be it so. Amen. Oh, look, sir, look. Here is more of us. I prophesy if there are gallows on land, this fellow could not drown. Oh, no, blasphemy that swear grace or board. Not an oath on shore, hast thou no mouth by land? Well, what's the news?
The best news is that our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, is tight in yard and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all this service have I done since I went.
Tricksy spirits.
These are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger. How came you hither?
If I did think, sir, I were well awake, I'd strive to tell you.
Was it well done?
Bravely, my diligence, thou shalt be free.
This is as strange a maze as airmen trod, and there is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest thy mind with the beating on the strangeness of this business. Have picked leisure, which shall be shortly. Single, I'll resolve you of every these happened accidents, which to you shall seem probable. Till then be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Spirit, go to Caliban and his companions, untie the spell. How fares my gracious sir? There remains some missing from your company, a few odd lads that you remember not.
Every man should for all the rest let no man take care for himself. For all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio.
If these be true spies which I wear in my head, this is a goodly sight.
Tempest, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I'm afraid he will chastise me.
What things are these, my lord Antonio?
Will money buy 'em? Very like. One of them is a plain fish and no doubt marketable.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lords, and say if they be true. This thing of darkness, his mother was a witch, and one so powerful she could control the moon, make ebbs and flows, and deal in her command with all power. These 3 have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, have plotted with them to take my life. 2 of these things you must know and own. This thing of darkness, I remember mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is this not Stephano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk now. Where has he wine?
And Trinculo is reeling right. Where should they find this grand liquor that hath gilded him? How camest thou in this pickle?
Oh, I have been in such... I've been in such a pickle since I saw you last, which I fear me will never out of my bones. I will not be a fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stephano?
Oh, touch me not, for I'm not Stephano. Oh, but a cramp.
Oh, you'd be king of the Isles,
I would have been. A sore one, then.
This is as strange a thing I e'er looked on.
He is as disproportionate in his manners as in his shape. Go, Sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions. As you seek to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
Aye, that I will, and I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool.
Go to. Away.
Hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it.
Or stole it, rather.
Sir, your highness and your train I invite into my cell, where you shall rest for this one night. Within which space I shall make go quick away, telling you the story of my life and the particular accidents gone by since I came to this isle. Then in the morn I'll to your ship, and thence to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of our dear beloved Solomon. And thence retire me to my villa, where every third thought shall be like rain.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the year strangely.
I'll deliver all, and promise calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious it shall catch thy royal fleet far off. My Ariel, chick, that is thy charge. Then to the elements be free, and fare you well. Please, you draw near. my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have's mine own which is most faint. Now 'tis true, I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardoned the deceiver, dwell in this fair island by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which is to please. Now, I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so as it assaults, and mercy itself frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.